Hello everyone, this is R.S. Miller at the endtimenews.org and today is September 6, 2013. This is your Fast Track Report. A Chinese landing craft with 1,000 Marines headed for Syria. Western naval sources reported Friday that a Chinese landing craft, the Jinggangshan, with a 1,000-strong Marine battalion had reached the Red Sea en route to the Mediterranean off Syria. According to Depkafile, Beijing has already deployed a number of warships opposite Syria in secret. If the latest report is confirmed, this will be the largest Chinese deployment in the Middle East in its naval history. According to the Russian news outlet Telegraphist.org, the People's Liberation Army dispatched the Jinggangshan amphibious dock landing ship, and the vessel was seen passing through the Red Sea towards the Suez Canal, the waterway in Egypt which leads to the Mediterranean Sea and waters off the coast of Israel, Lebanon, and Syria. According to the report, the ship has not been sent to engage in any aggressive actions, but is merely there to observe the actions of Russian and U.S. warships. However, the Jinggangshan is equipped for combat, has conventional armaments and secondary cannons, and was utilized as part of a show of force in maneuvers aimed at defending the South China Sea earlier this year. In January, Russia held its biggest naval maneuvers in the Mediterranean in more than 20 years, followed by its largest ever naval exercises with China in the Sea of Japan in July. In March, Putin ordered unplanned exercises in the Black Sea involving 36 warships and almost 7,000 personnel. Russia maintains a naval resupply facility at the Syrian port of Tartus. A missile cruiser, the Moskva, is bound for the eastern Mediterranean after canceling its mission to a point in Cape Verde. It will arrive by September 17th to assume the leadership of a task force in the region, Interfax reported today, citing a naval officer in St. Petersburg. The Baltic and Black Sea fleets are each sending a destroyer, the news service said. Putin has clearly outlined his country's position in regards to Syria. Matthew Clements, an analyst at IHS Global Insight in London, said in an email comment, "This includes a firm warning to the United States and its allies that military action against Syria without support from the UN Security Council would be an aggression." Friends, in Revelation chapter 9, the Euphrates River is dried up to make way for the kings from the east, and the ensuing war will kill 1/3 of mankind, which currently translates into approximately 2 billion people. In verse 13 reads, "Then the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, Release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." So the 4 angels who had been prepared for the hour and day and month and year were released to kill 1/3 of mankind. Several years ago, perhaps as many as 10, a Chinese People's Liberation Army official boasted that they could field an army of 200 million soldiers, which, by the way, is the exact number John the Revelator said this invading army would be. In verse 16 it reads, "Now the number of the army of the horsemen was 200 million, and I heard the number of them." Political and military alliances between China, one of the kings of the East, Russia, who is the biblical Gog-Magog, and Persia, who is modern-day Iran, are all lining up exactly with Bible prophecy. This fact in and of itself is evidence that the Bible is true. It is also a leading indicator as to just how close we are to the end of human government, the time when Jesus Christ returns and sets up his kingdom. In other words, what's commonly referred to as the last days. At some point in the not-too-distant future, The war of Revelation 9:13 will kill some 2 billion people and is going to take place, and there is absolutely nothing we can do to prevent it. However, there is something that each and every one of us can do. In John 14, verse 6, Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. In other words, Jesus Christ is the only way to salvation. It's unfortunate that far too many people simply don't believe, and many will continue in disbelief until it's too late. In Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 and 14, tells us that there are only 2 ways of life, the narrow and the broad gates. Enter by the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and there are many who go in by it. Because narrow is the gate and difficult is the way which leads to life, and there are few who find it. It is the Father's hope that none should perish, but all should find salvation through his Son, Jesus Christ. If you desire to get right with Christ, then follow the link in the box below and pray the prayer with a sincere heart, and you will be saved. May God bless you.